أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا الكريم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum. Allahu Akbar. Okay, basically today the speech, it's not actually a speech, yeah? It's gonna be a lot of things in one. The music, all of you heard, you know, it's haram, why it's haram and everything else, but we're trying to approach it from a different perspective. Yeah, it's not about music is haram, there's hadith, there's ayah, and that's it. That's very easy, yeah? Because people will come and say, oh, but you know, sometimes this happens, sometimes that happens. What the approach today is basically you have to understand what music is, yeah? What it does to you, yeah? From a scientific point of view, where did music come from? So from a historical point of view, and if this happens to me, so what is the benefit? So from a logical point of view, and then we come to the Islamic ruling. Okay? That's it. So today is going to be a little bit of science, a little bit of history. It's not boring, inshallah. We're trying to make it as, you know, interesting as it can. But the idea today is for you to understand the real effects of music and what is it about. Right? So number one, you have to know, why am I giving you this lecture? Okay? I'm giving you this lecture because music, I think, and a lot of people think, even non-Muslims, they say it's more harmful to you than actually drugs, gambling, and alcohol. So the destruction of music is actually worse than all these things. So this is why I'm giving you this lecture, yeah? Number two, what are you benefiting? What is the gain when you leave here? What do you want to learn? You will learn that music is a really bad thing for you, and you have to make a choice. But that choice now, it became bigger because it's not about I know the ruling and that's it, which is sufficient for any Muslim, alhamdulillah. If Allah and His Messenger said this is haram, that's it. But because of now, you have, you know, this bits and pieces of people say, but maybe this, maybe that, will give you the whole picture of music, inshallah. Okay? And I'm going to quote sources for you. So inshallah, this is going to be recorded on video. If you have a pen and a paper, bismillah. If you're tired because of the football game and it's beautiful, inshallah, you can watch the video online and you can copy the sources and you can check it for yourself as a reference. طيب? Okay. Now, the first thing I'm going to start with is the origins of music from a non-Islamic perspective. Okay, so where did music come from, basically? Yeah? From a website called Media Apocalypse article, they made an article say, what is the origin of music reveals about its true meaning, right? And they say for decades, the culture industry ensured that music's primary role in our society was as entertainment. So basically what they know of history is that music is just to entertain us. Okay, now I want you to pay close attention because every word you're gonna see a very bad reflection coming, yeah? And they say entertainment is surely one of the purposes of music. So to be fair, most people do realize it's not the only purpose. So they thought before music just for entertainment. Now they say this is not the only purpose. Live performances, you know, when you go to gigs, when you see parties, all that stuff, yeah, can and have united broad swath of society in ways that transcend simple amusement. Basically, when you guys come around, it's nice, it's, you know, you feel happy, a lot of people are enjoying, you know, doing the same thing. So this is what it says. Music can be used as therapy or as a call to action. Now that means it affects your inner body, chemically, psychologically, okay? Songs can move us to tears or lift our spirits for beyond a simple diversion. Who here listened to music before? Come on, subhanAllah. What is this? SubhanAllah. Shiyukh, Allahu Akbar. Bismillah, inshallah. So, even if you didn't listen to intentionally, while you're in the supermarket, when you're, you know, on a bus or something, you listen, right? So, sometimes whoever listens to music, you know that track, when you listen to, how it moves you. You know that for a fact. And if you do not know, music affects you in a way that it moves your body. We're going to go on that later, inshallah. طيب? And they say that music, it's not just a part of a music, you know, your genre, your kind of music. It's not just a part of your library. It's a part of your one soul. Okay? Clearly, there is something more to music than mere entertainment. Okay? So what we understood from this is that music, in the beginning they thought it was entertaining. Now they say we saw some differences happening, so there's got to be something more to it. Yeah? Okay. Now, the origin of music in Islam. Now we know from history now, music is for entertainment. In Islam, there is Surah Al-Ahzab, the 33 surah. There is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to the Prophet Muhammad's wives, and he said, وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنُ تَبَرَّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّ الْأُولَى. Right? Now, in that verse, it says that do not seek the ways of the Jahiliyyah. In Tafsir al-Tabari, right, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said, this verse actually is speaking about a story. Okay? That story basically was, you know Cable and Abel's story, everyone? Yes? Alhamdulillah. Okay. Now, Abel, when he killed his brother, he flew. Okay? This is one narration. Another narration says 2 of the sons of Adam. But when you compare the evidences, it says that it's Cable and Abel. Okay? So let's say 2 of the sons of Adam, the good people used to live high in the mountains. Okay? The bad people, which is from the descendants of Abel, or him, yeah, he used to live in the lower place of the mountains, right? Now, the high ground, the good people, right, the men were very beautiful. They looked really nice. And the women were slightly ugly. Okay? Downhill was the opposite. The women were very, very beautiful, and the men were slightly ugly. Okay? Now, when that happened, the lower people used to be deviant. They didn't worship, they didn't commit any, shirk or anything else, but they used to be deviant. They used to do a little bit of ma'asi, if you want to say it, yeah? Like some small sins. So the shaitan, he took a form of a boy, and he went to someone in that village, and he said, I want to work with you. He said, fine. He worked with him, and while he was working with him, after he finished his work, he took something like a flute, it looks like a flute, and he started singing and playing it away. Now the people were amazed. They were like, what is this? They never heard music before, this is the first time I hear music. You see? So they said, well, that's powerful. Why not we make a Eid, like a festival once a year, where we can actually enjoy, we can play music, we can dance and everything. And this is what happened. Every year, they used to take one day, and they used to play the music. The women, they used to show their skin, they used to dance, and the men used to do the same. They didn't commit any fornication yet, yeah? But this is what happens. It's called the fawahish. Yeah, the sins now. Now, one of the good people, he listened carefully. There was, when you hear music from afar, there's like some kind of echoing. You want to know what is it. When he went down, he never saw these beautiful women before. They only saw the slight ugly ones. But when he saw these women, he couldn't believe himself. So he went down, brought some of his fellows. He said, bro, there's some beautiful women downstairs. Let's go see what's happening. They went down. The beautiful man met the beautiful woman, and fornication started. That was the first time of fornication. Based on what? Music. It was the beginning of everything now. So this is from an Islamic perspective of history. Where you can find this is in Tafsir al-Tabari, Surah Al-Ahzab, the verse is 33, al-ayah. Okay? Now, coming to something else which is very, very interesting. Okay? You all saw, of course, the musical notes, right? So, you saw this before. Yes? Right. This is called musical notation. Okay? The musical notation was given to us way, 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 way back, like 2 centuries before the birth of Isa alayhi salam. This shape and form. Okay? Before that, they say like 2,000, 3,000 years ago, it was written on stones. It's called like a cuneiform stone, which is like in Iraq. It's a very, very weird ceramic kind of thing. But the obvious one that we know now is this one. Okay? That was 2 centuries before the birth of Isa alayhi salam. Who was the prophet? Who were the prophets before Isa alayhi salam? Musa, right? And who were the people that followed Musa? Bani Israel, right? Now, This is some food for thought, yeah? I'm not gonna even discuss it, but you just need to understand who gave you the musical notation. Okay? Now, you saw this, yes? Okay. Now, these are the 22 letters of Hebrew. You see it? You see the ones are marked with yellow? Does it appear at all? Anything? Yeah? Okay. Now, this is just food for thought. To understand if music was created by Shaitan, Iblis, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Okay. Can it ever be a good thing? Okay. Now you can actually read music. How you can read music and how can you see musical notation and how people are enhancing in the music industry? By this notation. Okay? Now I'm gonna shift to something else. Okay? I'm gonna speak about addiction. Okay? From a science perspective. Addiction. So what is addiction? We all know, the normal addiction, but what is addiction from a scientific perspective, right? The medical news today, they said that people do not have control over what they are doing, taking, or using. This is addiction now, okay? Addictions do not only include physical things you consume. Physical things we consume, like drugs. This is something you consume. Alcohol. This is something you have to take externally, outside of your body, such as drugs or alcohol, but may include virtually anything. So you can be addicted to anything, okay? Healthcare professionals and lay people now insist that psychological dependency, okay, like gambling, fornication, internet, work, music, exercise, these are all psychological. What it means, basically, you do not take something in your body in order for you to be addictive. It's something outside of your body that makes you addicted to it, right? PlayStation, football. This is something that doesn't come inside your body, but you like it so much. See? These things are addictive, should also be counted as addictions because they can also lead to feelings of guilt, shame, hopelessness, despair, failure, rejection, and anxiety and humiliation. Do you understand these terms? Okay. Are you okay so far? You following? You have any questions? Anything so far? Alhamdulillah. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a habit and an addiction? Because people might say, this is my habit. I do this normally. See? How can I differentiate between if this is a habit or this is an addiction? And all of us know, who says that addiction is a good thing? It depends. Okay. No. Water is something you have to survive on. Yeah? So, but if you drank like 4 liters of water at the same time, will you be able to survive afterwards? There you go. Now, addiction, the difference is, with a habit, you are in control of your choices, like water. I like water so much, but to the extent of when I have like a tummy ache, that's it, With addiction, you are not in control of your choices. See, very simple. If I'm addicted to something, I cannot control it. Okay? Now, what are the signs of addiction? Now, listen very carefully now. How can I know that someone, or myself, is addicted to something, yeah? The person are taking the substance and cannot stop. So, I cannot stop, no way. Something called withdrawal symptoms. When someone is I like something so much, and all of a sudden I have to stop, they say that the patient has physical and mood-related symptoms. Ever see that before? When you like something, when you see someone that loves something so much and all of a sudden he doesn't, you feel these mood swings coming, you're depressed, you have a bad temper, you're angry, you feel angry quickly. Ever saw that? Yeah. Anyone? Right, alhamdulillah. Taking risks. If you're addicted to something, you will take a risk that you normally do not take. Okay? Obsession. Being obsessed. Secrecy and solitude. You're being secret. You don't want anyone to know. Maybe certain people, not anyone. Yeah, because you're doing it every single day, or maybe you're doing it a lot, and you're in denial, bro. Your ankles showed up. What do you mean, man? Looks good. It's fine. You know, bro, this. No, 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 what do you mean? It's fine. Denial. I don't like it. Having problem with the law. That's very clear. Financial difficulties and relationship problems. So, financial difficulties, I'm paying too much money on this thing, and my money goes away all the way on this thing. Relationship problems, it doesn't have to be between a husband and wife, it could be with anyone. With, you know, my brother. Because of this thing, I don't like him anymore. See? These are the signs of addiction. Okay? Now, what causes addiction? Yeah? The repeated use of an addictive substance and how the human brain experiences the nice reward. What is the nice reward? Meaning, after you do this thing, you feel really, really good. You know, and so I'm very happy. It's good. Yeah? We're not saying everything now, just this is how you know you're addicted to something. Or what causes it. You found something very intriguing and interesting. It can be nicotine, alcohol, drugs, which is an external chemical substance. We said that it's something from outside, it goes into your body now. Yeah? When you absorb nicotine, your body already have nicotine in the blood, yeah? When you smoke cigarettes, it stops the flow of nicotine in your body normally, and it's now used to something external. This is why when you don't smoke anymore, you're like, I want a cigarette, because the body doesn't have it anymore. It's stopped. Same thing with alcohol and different things, yeah? Or it can be an outsider, something that doesn't go inside your, you know, your bloodstream and everything, that plays with the psychology of the brain, and it triggers the internal chemical thing in your brain, and it makes it go over the roof. Yeah, like gambling. Gambling, you don't eat chips, you know, these things. Yeah, but you're crazy. I gotta win this thing. You know what I mean? I gotta do it. Fornication, same thing. Maybe you're young, but inshallah, fornication. Work, you know, you feel workaholic. You know that term. I need to do this, I need to get this, I need to get money, I need to do this, everything. Music, right? Now, one of the key essential things, you know what makes you feel that feeling and makes you really want to do this in your body? It's called dopamine. Dopamine, yeah? What is dopamine? All of this now, what I'm quoting you, I'm reading to you because I'm going to give you the sources. Where did I get this knowledge from? You know what I mean? It's not about just me, you know, coming up with stuff. No, you can actually go online, research, and you can see it yourself. So it says dopamine is what makes you feel good. Yeah? It regulates thought, movement, attention, motivation, and learning. So this is the chemical that makes you do all of these things. You know when you're happy, when you go into the football, and you run and do this and this, you're, you know, very hyper and everything, this is dopamine. When you get the score and you're very, very happy, this is dopamine. Right? There's Dr. Von Steiff, he said, dopamine is really cool stuff. It is basically what makes you feel happy, and this is the euphoria you get. Okay? There's Dr. Ananya, very weird name, Mandel. Okay? She's an MD. She said that dopamine is a neurotransmitter. Basically, it plays with the nervous system. Neurotransmitter is the nervous system. It is a chemical messenger that helps in the transmission of signals in the brain and other vital areas. Yeah? You following? Any questions? Yes? Alhamdulillah. Okay. Dopamine is found in external drugs, such as cocaine. Cocaine has dopamine, right? Among other things, which takes control over the passage of neurons and keep constant feeling of pleasure. Now I know this is like big words of science and stuff, but this is for your own benefit. Okay, just to listen, cross over like this. Now, you gotta understand that dopamine, what it does, the nervous system, it sends signals, yeah? And these signals are when you're happy, you feel them. When you get what you want, it goes away. Cocaine, for example, why people are addicted to it? Because it keeps that constant feeling going on and on and on. It doesn't end. See? This is why you see them like do like this all the time. You know, they're happy. Eyes like this. But it's not. Because after a certain period of time, they cannot live without this thing anymore. It becomes a survival. It's not enjoyable anymore. Yeah? Now, there is a doctor, his name is Robert Sapolsky, in California Academy of Science. He did a very powerful experiment. Like, look, They actually, you know, they train monkeys in labs and stuff, right? What they did was, they trained the monkey to say, listen, if you pull this lever 10 times, yeah, you're gonna find food. And the more times you're pushing that lever, you're gonna find food. So they did this. This graph basically, it shows you, see that the smaller curve, right? This is the usual thing. This is the monkey. They put some stuff in his brain, and they see that the dopamine level, when he sees signal, like the red light, they have to push it. This is where he gets excited. Okay, I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna get food. So, and this is the work. See, he knows what he's doing. I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna eat now. And this is the reward, which basically he got the food. So, interesting. This is very interesting now, yeah? The reward is not what makes you go high. It's actually this. It's like, I'm gonna get this now. You didn't get it yet, but it's anticipation, right? Now, they did something very interesting. They said, okay, listen, let's make him do this, but instead of getting the food every single time he get 10 livers, he's gonna get 50%. So he did it 10, nothing. Another 10, nothing. So he did the third 10, he got it, right? So there's anticipation now. When that happened, this is the second curve. Look how did it go off the roof. The anticipation. I was like, maybe I'm not feeling good today. Maybe they don't like me. Okay, maybe if I did this today, inshallah, they will give me food and everything. And he's thinking that way, and the dopamine went over the roof. Thank you. It's good. Bismillah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Jazakallah. Allahu Akbar. See? Now, this experiment that he did, he actually wants to tell you that they introduced to the monkey the word maybe. Maybe I'll get it, maybe I don't. And when that word introduced to his brain, the dopamine levels went over the roof, and he couldn't believe himself. Yes, maybe today, maybe I'll get it. Because he didn't get food yet, you know what I mean? Now, when the dopamine, it goes in your brain, okay? This is where the dopamine takes place. This is our brain, okay? See that blue spot? It's called the frontal lobe. This is where the dopamine kicks in. It kicks in different places. You see that yellow thing you see it? That one? This is the place of addiction. This is where the brain tells you you're addictive now, right? And this is the frontal lobe, the frontal thing of the brain. This is where the dopamine goes crazy and makes you really, really excited. Okay? Now, what is the main characteristics? The brain is different parts are consisted of different things. They do different functions, right? Now, the function of this frontal lobe, yeah, the main functions are reason, judgment, short memory, and speech, among other things. But these are the ones that I want to trigger, yeah? So it's controlling of your reasoning, my judgment, my speech, what should I say? What should I say? And subhanAllah, in the Quran, Allah said, to Abu Jahl, ناصية كاذبة. Al-nasiya in Arabic is the frontal lobe of the brain. Kadhiba means lying, the lying, forehead. So basically you lie or you don't based on your judgment, which is the frontal lobe. This is a mu'jiza. It's a miracle of the Quran. But basically these are the 4 points that I want to tackle. Yeah? Now, what's all of this have to do with music? Yeah? This is all science and stuff. What does this have to do with music? Okay. Let's define what is music now. Simply, music is the combination of audio frequencies and patterns floating through the air to your ear. This is what is music. It's waves coming to your ears, right? Exactly like how your eyes processes light. When you see light, it's actually like waves coming to your eyes, and you can actually see this is light. Same thing that happens with the ear. When it sees the waves of music coming in, that's it. And it triggers excitement, pleasure, sadness, or other emotions in your brain. This is the difference. Okay? Now, the brain stimulates these feelings also from food, drugs, and fornication, right? I can't say fornication now, but you know, intercourse basically with a woman, with your wife, which some are essential for the human survival of the body, has created a system which rewards you from achieving them. So you know, when you're hungry and you eat, you know, you feel happy, you know, I fill my stomach, this is great, right? Now, what is the relation between music and dopamine? Okay, now we know dopamine, this is what makes me feel good and everything, that's good. Music is waves entering my this and it plays with my brain, great. So what is the relation between these two, yeah? Now I want you to really, really concentrate on what I'm gonna say to you, okay? Music stimulates the same feelings that's been mentioned previously in the addiction section. So you see, when you're addicted to something, it tells you how it works. Music stimulates the same thing and increases the level of dopamine to the extent of your eyes, your pupil eyes will be like this. You know, when you're very excited something's gonna happen, you're like, I'm very happy, you know, your eyes are bulging out, yeah? It triggers it. The blood pressure, your temperature, and the brain, and it plays with the brains, it gives you goosebumps, right? And it controls your body movement. Because the same place in your brain that is in control of the body movement is the same one that really actually appreciates music and sound. Same place, okay? Now, the goosebumps that comes to you know, when you hear something really, really powerful, or you know, you're waiting for your new iPad or your new PlayStation, whatever it is, yeah? When you feel these goosebumps coming in, this is the dopamine, okay? It makes you very, very high, and it stimulates the part of the brain which is the addiction part. You see that thing, the yellow place? This is the place of addiction. That one, yeah? Music stimulates that place, which is addiction, yeah? And it makes it go off the roof, okay? Now, the reason why I started with the history, and I went all the way down to science, is because you know now who created music, right? It's Iblis. So Iblis, if he created something for you, it's not going to be beneficial. It's definitely something to take you away, right? Now with new science, they discovered that, listen, music is really good, you know? It helps you, it makes you think better, it makes you feel better, and this. Of course, this is a big lie, because it's not the music that makes you feel good, it's what gives you in your body that makes you feel good, you know what I mean? And at a certain extent, after you feel good for a long period of time because of music, what do you find at the end? Do you find that the musicians or the people that go to the clubs and parties, are these good people? Good people? Not good people. So it can never be good now. Because if music is good and it stimulates the brain and do all these beautiful things about dopamine and feel good and happy, why I can't find one single example of a good person in the music industry? One. There is a good person that I can say, look, mashallah, he's a good Muslim. I'm not going to even speak about good person, a good Muslim. Not even one. In the entire history, 1,435 years of Islam, not even a single person that plays music from the day he was born all the way till he died, he was a good person. A lot of people used to play music and repented, and mashallah, they are good people. But we're saying, if he insisted on playing music, can you give me one good example? Anyone? One. Not even one. See? Not even one person that he listened to music with all these dopamine and everything made him a good person at all. Now, death, when it comes to you, let's say you're listening to music, you're playing music, you're in a pub, you're in a car, whatever it is, yeah? When you're listening to music and death comes to you, you are only remembering. See, now listen. You're listening to music, which is dopamine, in this, which is consisted of logic, speech, short memory. So when you die, your short memory, what is it remembering? Is it remembering Allah? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Is that remembering? This is science now. We're not even speaking about, logically. This is science proven, yeah? So, short memory is remember what music. And your speech, what is it going to say? Okay. Who did hear the story of when, in the Middle East, with the people who were like, traveling around, the desert country, wherever they're traveling, and they found a crash with people who were listening to music just 5 minutes ago, they ran fast. You know that story? Right. What happened when they wanted to give them the shahada? What did he say? See? Music. Subhanallah. In Ahl Salaf, from the old age people, there used to be musicians. He was dying. They trying to say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. They were more pious than us now. They didn't see all of this. He said, say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. He said, 10 tana. Which is what he was playing, basically. See? Now, that it's not about, I'll be good now, I'll try to do this and that. I'll listen to a little bit of music, and then I'll do this. It's not about music only, the topic today is about music, but just measure what I'm saying to you now about anything else. Because now, if you stimulate pleasure inside your body and your brain, yeah, whatever it is that you do constantly, this is what you're going to die on, which is, of course, it's mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah and everything. But from a science perspective as well, when you die upon something, the last thing is you're going to remember is the last thing you did. See? It's not about, I heard this, but maybe inshallah when I die, maybe I'll remember. No, you won't. Because scientifically now, even your chemical in your brain will stop you from remembering anything else. See? So, this is coming from an understanding of music. Is it halal or haram now? Without even giving any reference to Quran and Sunnah. What do you think? Anyone has any idea? Maybe it's halal, maybe if I used it in a certain way? Anyone? Maybe? Because the origin of music, go Bismillah. We're gonna come to that later. But I'm saying music in general, do you think it's haram? Without even giving you any evidences. Type. Now, what I'm trying to say now is, if the origin of music is shaitan, I'm gonna repeat this again so it sticks in your brain. If the origin of music is shaitan is never gonna give you something that will benefit you in any certain way. You can never play with something that shaitan gives you and come with something good. That's never gonna happen, right? So, if shaitan gave you music, do you think ever, in any kind of way, shape or form, is gonna be beneficial for you? Yes? Now, coming from the Islamic rule, so let's speak now, what did the Quran and the Hadith told us? Because we just came from a logical, scientific history perspective. What about what Islam says? In the Quran, in Surah 17, Surah Al-Isra, in verse 64, it says, lead. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to Iblis. When he ordered the angels to bow, he didn't. He said, lead to destructions those whom thou canst among them. Whoever you can. With thy seductive voice. I chose this old English kind of translation because it gives a good translation. With thy seductive voice. Okay, and then the verse continues, make assaults on them with thy cavalry and thy infantry. Have you ever heard of this verse before? وَاسْتَفْزِزْ مَنْ اسْتَطَعْتَ مِنْهُمْ بِصَوْتِكَ وَاجْلِبْ عَلَيْهِمْ. Now, Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhuma, and Mujahid, which is his student, they said this is the musical instruments. Who is Ibn Abbas when it comes to the tafsir of Quran? Ibn Abbas and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, they called them the Turjuman al-Quran. These are the best people that did tafsir on Quran. And in one hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said, "Alaykum bi sunnat ibn Mas'ud, wa alaykum bi sunnat ibn al-Abbas." So be on the sunnah of him. Whatever he did, do. Okay? This is in a different, it's an authentic hadith. It's not a daifa. Okay? In another verse, Surah Luqman, chapter 31. 31, one second, let me see. Yeah, chapter 31, verse 6. It says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. Okay? And of those people is who buys the amusement of speech to mislead from the way of Allah. Okay? Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he said, وَاللَّهِ الَّذِي لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ إِنَّهُ الْغِنَاءُ وَاللَّهِ الَّذِي لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ إِنَّهُ الْغِنَاءُ وَاللَّهِ الَّذِي لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ إِنَّهُ الْغِنَاءُ. He said, I swear by Allah 3 times, it is singing, which is accompanied by music. Okay? What happened was, one of the narrations is that when people wanted to go to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, they wanted to hear the Qur'an being recited. The kuffar, they brought some women, beautiful women, with some music, and they threw them on. So not threw them on, but they're like playing music and they're saying everything. They're trying to put them away of the recitation of the Qur'an. Okay? Now, these two are from the Qur'an. There's a lot of different ones in the Qur'an, but these are like the main 2 that tackle it. From the hadith, in Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari, it says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ, that there will come people from my nation, Muslims. Okay? يستحلون. يستحلون makes it haram, makes it haram halal. Al-hira. Al-hira is the zina, the fornication. Al-harir, men wearing silk. Al-khamri. Al-khamri here, they always translate it as alcohol or drinking. It's not. It's any intoxication, basically. So, cocaine, weed, anything is intoxicating. Whatever covers your body, because al-khamru comes from the word khimar. You know what your sisters and your mothers wear? You know the abaya thing? It's called khimar. Because basically it covers it. So whatever covers the brain is called khamr. Okay? That makes you do not know what you're saying, what you're doing. This is called khamr. Wal ma'azif, and the musical instruments. So he said, people who come from my nation, now listen to that carefully. It didn't say music is haram and that's it. No, he actually said people from my nation, scholars would come, people of knowledge would come, and they would say music is allowed. It's fine if you use it in a certain way, and we have that now. A lot of scholars come. You have a lot of books that will say, music, if you use it, it's like shi'r, it's like poetry. The good of it is good, and the bad of it is bad. Subhanallah, Sadaqa al-Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. That's it. So you have this from the evidences. Now, you have 2 misconceptions, 2 big misconceptions that people come with, yeah? And they tell you, okay, wait, listen. You know the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha when she was beating the duff? Who knows the hadith? Okay. Basically, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he returned to his house to Aisha radiallahu anha. She was still young, and she was playing and singing with a little girl from the Ansar, because they won a battle, the Ansar won a battle, and they were like beating the duff and singing along. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went inside the room, he slept on the bed, he gave him their back, covered his face, and he was sleeping. Okay? Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he entered the house, and he saw what's happening. He said, Amizmaru shaytanu fi bayt al-Nabi, is the flute of the devil in the house of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Oh Abu Bakr, leave them. Da'hum ya Abu Bakr. فَإِنَّ لِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ عِيدٌ وَالْيَوْمَ عِيدُنَا. For every nation has its Eid, and today is our Eid. So people come to you say, like, listen, that's it. See, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was there. He was listening to the duff and singing. And even Abu Bakr, when he entered the house, he told him, leave them. It's an Eid. So that means we can do it in Eid, inshallah. Bismillah. But actually, it's the other way around. In every narration of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and in the Seerah an-Nabawiyya, and even within Seerah ibn Hisham, you never see the companions will make a certain statement in the presence of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam which is not true. Basically what it means, if this is haram, yeah, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam knows it's haram, and everyone knows it's haram, I'm not gonna say in front of the Prophet, it's halal. They never did that. You get it? So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he entered the house, yeah, and he saw this is happening. He said, Amizmar shaitan, the fruit of the devil. So this is not normal for a companion in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ to say something which he doesn't know. You know what I mean? He will ask, oh Prophet, is it allowed? Is that good? Yeah? So when that happened, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ didn't say, no, it's not the Mizmar shaitan. Who said so? It's Eid. No. He didn't say anything about what he said. So this is approving. By his action, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, by his action, he approved that this is the Mizmar of shaitan, but it's allowed for these young ladies, these young girls, to do it in the time of Eid. This is what the scholar said, and Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, he quoted this in his book Tahrim wa Alat al-Tarab. Okay? The second one that comes to you in the same book, Tahrim wa Alat al-Tarab, and it's in a different book, astaghfirullah, I can't even remember the name now. It tells you that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was coming back from a battle, right? And a woman from Al-Habasha, she was waiting for him, and she said, look, أنا نظرت إلى الله, I made a promise to Allah. You know what nadhr is in Islam? Nadhr basically is, you do promise to Allah. You say, look, Allah, if you made me succeed in the exams, I'm gonna give 20 pounds charity. Let's say this for example, yeah? It's not obligation on you that when you succeed the exams, you pay 20 pounds. But because of this nadhr, now it became an obligation, a fard on you. You have to do it. Because Allah didn't state it on you and you want to do it anyway and you asked Allah for it. You know what I mean? It's very obvious now. So it becomes an obligation on you. So she said, أنا نظرت إلى الله, I made a promise to Allah, if you came back safely from this battle, I'm going to beat the duff and sing for you. Okay? So he said, فإن نظرتي فافعلي. So if you made a promise to Allah, then do it. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ sat down. She's beating the duff and singing. Sayyidina Abu Bakr came. Sayyidina Ali came. Sayyidina Uthman came. As soon as Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab came, she was with the drum, she put it down, and she said like this. And she didn't move. Very, very frightened. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he laughed and he said, oh Umar, inna ash-shaytan la yakhafa mink. Subhanallah, Umar, the devil surely is afraid of you. Now they say, there you go. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, sitting down. And she's singing. She's a woman. Singing the duff and everything. And the companions came, it's okay. Now, the question would be, did you hear what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ say when Umar ibn al-Khattab came? He said, Inna ash-shaytan la yakhafa minka ya Umar. The devil is surely afraid of you, Umar. Why? Why did he say this? Because the lady stopped. So that means that the shaitan stopped, or that means the lady stopped? There you go. So does that mean that the shaitan was doing something good now? See? Very easy. And the final one that I'm going to quote for you, Sayyidina ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, he was walking alongside with another companion, and there was a guy far, far away. He was playing the flute or something, like a shepherd. So he did this. And he was walking until it finishes. And he asked him, is it gone now? He said yes, and he removed his fingers. And he said, why did you do this? He said, I was walking with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he did the same thing. See? Now people come to you and say, listen, the Prophet heard the music, he just did this. He didn't order Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu to do the same. That means that listening to it is fine. He didn't say it's haram. He didn't say, put your fingers. You shouldn't listen to it's haram. He didn't do this. Now, there's two different things in Islam when it comes to listening. There's listening and hearing. Two different things. I'm in the supermarket buying some stuff and there's music and I'm not even paying attention. I'm hearing there's music, but I'm not even concentrating. I'm hearing something. And there's listening. I'm listening to music. See? There's difference now. There's difference between I'm listening to something and hearing. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ didn't even want to hear about it. Hearing is fine because you're not concentrating. He didn't even want to do that. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he was young, he said, this is authentic hadith, I remember if Bukhari or Muslim. He said, أنا هممت, I intended to do things of this worldly life 2 times when I was young. When he was a shepherd, when he was young, he asked for a friend to come, and he told him, listen, take my place. I'm gonna go inside the village and I'm gonna do whatever they do. Okay? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ went inside. There was a big festival or marriage happening. He sat down. As soon as he sat down, he fell asleep. And what awoke him next morning was the sun. So next day, he did the same thing. Called out his friend, come man, sit here, I'm gonna go to there. He went inside, there was another festival. As soon as he sat down, he slept. And the next day, what awoke him was the sun. And he said, after this, I didn't want to do anything else. Even when he was not a prophet, the Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected him even. He shut his ears from even listening to music or watching everything. So, these basically are like a small glimpses of music. I hope inshallah you have benefited. If you have any questions inshallah, please, in music, yeah, or whatever it is we're speaking about. Jazakumullah khairan for listening, and Assalamu alaikum. I used to be a musician for 21 years. Since I was 3 years old, music is everything for me. Okay? So that means I know what it comes to musical instruments, electronic music, sound effects, everything. Okay? Now, when you say nasheed, it is allowed in Islam to do nasheed. It's very allowed, it's okay. But it has rules and regulations. One, the nasheed shouldn't take any form of music with it. So any musical instrument with nasheed, it's not allowed. Khalas, it's done. That's easy. But you have Ya Muhammad, someone doing this with his voice, yeah? This what he's doing is called humming, or it's a background, yeah? The scholars said it's fine, yeah? But the scholars doesn't know about music. Well, said it's fine. It's not Ibn Uthaymeen or Ibn Baz. I'm not saying Ibn Uthaymeen, Ibn Baz, Salah Fawzan. These people said it's not. They didn't even know about it. So we're quoting Ibn Uthaymeen, Ibn Baz, Ibn Jebreel, Salah Fawzan, Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah. All these big scholars, all these big names, they said it's not allowed. Even to say hum and everything, yeah? But the new modern scholars that they live in the West or they are here, that they don't have any knowledge about what music is and the origins of music and what is sound effects. And if I gave him a track and he listened to it, he'd be like, wow, this is music. I'll be like, nope, it's not. It's someone with his voice. Have you ever heard of that song, Don't Worry, Be Happy? Alhamdulillah. The whole song, beats, bass, guitar, vocals, is made by voice. The whole song. And the people were like, wow, we didn't know his voice. They didn't know. But if you're a musician or you're into music, you'll be like, yeah, it doesn't sound like instruments, you know what I mean? But it's exactly imitating. Okay? So music, not allowed. It's a big no-no when it comes to nasheeds. Nasheed is only allowed when you hear the only voice, just one man with a nice voice. You can put a little bit of echo, a little bit of reverb. You know the echo and reverb. It's fine. You can go to a cave, speak, and I can have the echo. I can go to a hangar, speak, and have an echo. Go to a big room, empty room, have the same reverb, no problem. See? This is easy. So I can use this. I can use the sound of water. I can use the sound of wind. I can use the sound of this. This is all natural sounds. But I can never use this. You know, the duff. The duff is only for women. So this is a table. Yeah? I can use the table as an instrument. I can use the rain sound as an instrument. You know what I mean? If I put it in a certain pattern, in a certain way, it can sound musical. This is not allowed. What's allowed is a nature thing with someone saying good things. Let me give you an example, hold on. A live one. Of nasheeds that you can actually listen to. It's in Arabic, but there's a lot of it. There's a lot of things like this in English as well. Yeah? No. Yeah, there you go. You hear anything? Okay. Now, 1 second. Let me try to find you. Yes. This is like your limit. See? This is your limit now. The delay, two people dubbing over each other, it's fine. Yeah? But when it comes to orchestra, when you have like 40 brothers, hum, 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 you have someone, two of them coming and everything, that's not allowed, because this is called a choir, and you're taking it from the church. You know, when you go to the church, you go, Amen. Oh. See these things? This is a choir from the church. Any questions? Yes, please.
What advice should you give to those who still listen to it?
Right. The advice that I will give you, or give these people, is that, one, it's a very addictive thing. Yeah? So I do understand, I do appreciate. Yeah? But you gotta understand that you yourself are the only person that can take yourself out of it. So no matter what you listen to, because if you're a believer, yeah, one evidence from the Quran or the Sunnah is enough for you. Allah says haram, haram, khalas. Do you eat pork? No, right? Khalas, that's it. You don't eat pork, I don't eat pork. Do you drink? Khalas. You know what I mean? It's finished for me. But music, it's very hard. I'm trying, wallahi, and everything. No. What you gotta understand is music is gonna take you in a very bad direction. Basically, when you listen to music, you don't want to listen to Quran. You see? It's not about, I listen to Quran and music. La. Try this, yeah? See what is the best, or tell this brother, whoever he's still listening to music, tell him, take the best track that actually moves you. And you're like with it and everything, yeah? And you can't hold yourself, right? Take that track, listen to it, and after it finishes, Surah Al-Baqarah. Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. And you tell me, are you in Quran the same way you were inside that song? Do you feel the same passion and the same thing? Do you feel the same? It's never gonna happen. It doesn't coexist. You know what I mean? And Sayyidina Ibn Mas'ud, he said, and the al-ghina yunbitu an-nifaq fi al-qalb. It brings like, what do you call it, hypocrisy in your heart. And the Quran and the music can never be in the same heart. It can never be, ever. So you gotta make the choice. Either, okay, listen, I want to listen to music, and I want to go to hell, and I'm fine with being barbecued and everything. Or, I want to be a good person, I have to try, I have to leave this, yeah? The only way you have to do it is you leave it completely. This is what I did. When I stopped music, that's it. It's not like, okay, listen, I was playing, 8 hours a day, I'm gonna play 4 hours a day, then 2 hours a day, and then 1 hour a day. It doesn't happen. Because music is the only thing that plays with your emotions. So wherever you're angry, you're down, you feel, you're oppressed or sad, wherever you go to the music, because it makes you feel better. It doesn't actually. It actually makes it worse. When you're sad, do you hear an uplifting song? You hear a sad song, a sad one, because it wants to be with you. You know what I mean? You never hear something very joyful, and you go, oh yes, I'm very happy now. It doesn't happen. See? So the best advice I can give you is, now you know, or you can tell them, deliver the message. Now they know what music does to you. Yeah, it's actually worse than cocaine. It's actually worse than cocaine, because cocaine is very, very expensive. It's very, very bad for your health even, and it does a lot of bad things. So it's not an easy thing to come, and it's not an easy thing to get. Music is everywhere. You know what I mean? Just one click and you download everything. That's it. So it's actually worse than drugs. So if you know this, you gotta make the choice. You gotta listen to Quran more. Quran is your key. But you have to search. This is what I did, wallah, subhanAllah, and it really, really powerful, and it helped. When I used to live in Egypt, yeah? In Egypt they have Abdul Basit, Abdul Samad, Mahmoud Khalil al-Husari, al-Minshawi. It plays all over the place. Okay? And they especially play these Qur'ans when it comes to someone is dying. Right? So whenever I used to listen to these people, I always remember someone is dying, I'll be like, "Akhi, please shut it off. I don't want to listen to it." It's very, very depressing. Right? Because it relates to something. What I did was I researched, and try to find new reciters that have good voices that I can actually listen to. You know what I mean? And when I did, خلاص, it replaced. You know that hunger of sound and everything in relation, it replaced with the Quran. And trust me, akhi, there's millions of reciters that have different kind of recitation that you will hook on immediately. I hope inshallah that helps, yeah?